Welcome to Mobile Armor Radio, the podcast for all things Mecha. Jumpship incoming.
All right. Welcome to Mobile Armor Radio. This month I am your host, Chopper, joined with ever so wavy Brian and ever so somber Rob.
It's New Year, new me.
New Year, and that's not New Year, is it? Oh, it is New Year, new me.
It will be when the episode.
It will be.
It's literally January 1st there, Pat.
So we are post-Christmas. We are in the year 2025. Still no Uber mechs that we could ride to work.
Not yet.
Or what is it? There's no ride-sharing mechs yet.
That'd be the way to do it, though, right?
Yeah, why not? Ride-sharing mech. You just kind of take it to work, drop it off at one of those pickup spots, and you head into work.
Blow up, commit a few war crimes.
Like a divvy or those lime scooters that you see at Gen Con.
Mm-hmm.
You pay extra for the ordnance.
I mean, if you're going to war, sure, but if you're just going to work, do you need to pay for ordnance?
Well, you live in
and
Chicago.
Liability only on that insurance.
You know, unless you're planning to start some kind of ride on the way to work, sure, but I don't see why you would need to pay for ordnance.
Yeah, every time you crush a car, you make sure you have insurance for that.
Yeah, well, of course. So, well...
After averting a potential technical difficulty.
Yes. Well, let's just jump into the meat of this. I'm still very disappointed about the no ride-sharing mech, so we'll just move on. Let's head into the dropship.
We'll just move on.
I guess so.
Just a round of disappointments altogether. 2025, no ride-sharing mechs.
Dropship landing.
All right, welcome to the Dropship. Today's Dropship is sponsored by John Bear Ross. He's back to doing his Patreon. Now being a Patreon, you get a monthly 50% discount code on MMF, Cults, and CGT or CG Trader for just $1.99 a month.
CGT Raider.
Well, that's what I thought. That's where I almost went. But thank God all his projects are available on My Mini Factory. Just search for John Bear Ross, and the link will be in the show notes. We thank JBR for being a loyal sponsor and friend of the show. He's been there since day one, that JBR man.
Woohoo!
And there's he does have a special thing going on. I don't know how long it'll be going on for, but he has the Quixote? I guess it's
Quixote. Yeah. Don Quixote, come on.
Yeah, Quixote and Raptor Strike Force deal, which he's selling right now on I think it's on all of them, Cults, My Manufacturer, CG Trader, but he's selling them for 10% off is the deal, but then he's also got another code Lowkey20 for 20% off, and then if you're part of his Patreon, it's 50% off. So
wow.
Real good deal. I think we already have these mechs, Pat, so you don't need to buy them.
Well, I wanted to go look because I was hoping the Raptor would look like a donkey.
Raptor does not look like a donkey. It looks like a mech.
Can you imagine putting the Quixote mech on top of the Raptor mech and it would be a donkey?
You're a very odd person.
All you need is a windmill.
But yes, the Raptor and the Quixote. I think the big one is the Quixote and the Raptors are smaller ones. I think that's the way it is. But
well, since we have these mechs, Rob, why don't you continue and tell us what you've been working on?
I haven't been working on anything, but because my printer's dead, so I haven't been working on shit.
Oh.
I had a leak in my FEP, and it soaked into my actual printer, and I think it fried everything. So
not great.
Does it not turn on?
It turns on, but the screen doesn't turn on full brightness now. I think it's blocked full of goo.
What a way to start 2025.
Yeah, it's great. But JBR did post a picture of the Jaghund. He printed one up, and this thing's huge. That I'm showing the picture of it. That miniature on top is 28 millimeters. So that's how big this thing is. It is freaking huge. So
yeah.
That's going to be available on his all these stores. It was part of some.
I want that thing.
It is huge, but it was part of some like group, one of those guest. I can't remember what it was called.
And we did have a chat on comments It's not going to be solid resin, so you can't kill anyone if it falls off the shelf.
Yeah, I think he hollowed it out because it is gigantic. I would think that most likely you're going to use FDM for that thing. It's too big. It would be just so much resin.
Yeah, but I don't have any more FDM printers.
I don't have any printers, so.
So I might try and just do it with resin and just suck up the cost of the resin.
Yeah, I think he said it would be about 3 bottles. So.
Oh, I got 3 bottles sitting downstairs just doing nothing anyways.
There you go.
They're just sitting there watching.
So if you get it for a good price, 3 bottles is you get that whole mech for $60 probably. Where if you bought it from a certain other company, it would probably cost $1,000.
300. Yeah, 300
at least.
I mean, the Warhound used to be 300 when it first came out.
I think it's way more than that.
Forge World. Yeah, so it's probably way more. It would probably be double that at this time, you know.
So yeah, I haven't been working on anything because my printer died. So.
No, all right. How about you, Brian?
I actually have managed to do a couple of painting projects and printing projects actually.
Wow.
The Corvus Games Train recently put out a Frontier for the Dervhold terrain set, which is like a Space Dwarf themed set with very Norse and dwarvy kind of styling in the same style as a lot of the other terrain sets he's put out recently for the sci-fi range, and so I've been printing off a whole bunch of that. My printer kind of ebbs and flows as being like it's running great, and then one day it will not, and then it'll take me like a week to get it back up and running.
That's what I don't miss about FDM printers. They are very temperamental.
Yeah. And with it being like this season, like mine's located in my basement now, as I've been getting a room that it was in previously on the first floor is being reallocated for different purposes. So it is back down in the basement.
You can just get that kid to run the printer for you, man.
That's a negotiation still.
Apple does it all the time. I don't see why you can't do it.
But so just to say, like, my basement is less climate controlled in that it's basically not, and so it every now and then it'll have its little hiccups with just the temperature being really cold.
Yeah,
but
humidity affects it a lot and things like that.
But I also one thing that I did, it's kind of mech adjacent, is the Mantic had put out this sci-fi advent calendar where you get a whole bunch of little pieces and stuff, and to make this like little mini board game that you can play by the 24th day, right? So it was just, I really made it a point to make sure that I got that set painted up in time. And so just another one of those, like, just kind of get me doing the painting thing. And then I also painted up, I got my hands on one of those Master Chiefs for Halo Flashpoint, and just like, took that extra time, like watched the techniques, just trying to up the painting game a little bit. And it turned out pretty nice, actually. I suppose I could actually send you pictures of it, but maybe I'll do that later.
Post them in our Facebook.
Yeah. So, but yeah, otherwise, that's kind of what I've been working on. And how about you, Pat?
Again, not too much. It was the holidays. Worked a lot. It was my year to work Christmas, so stacked all my days in a row and things like. So I didn't get too much done. I did get some a little bit of 3D printing in. I printed up some. These are, we're again being very loose with the term mech here. I did print up some Klingon ships for Starfleet battles or Federation Commander, if anyone plays that. So I can use them on the little mini hex maps instead of the little chits. So I printed the smaller version because I have bigger versions that you can use on a mega hex map, but I printed some smaller versions so you can use it on like the regular hex map that you would normally get with the game. The smaller, like inch and a half or half inch or inch size hex. I think they're half inch hex. So I messed around with that and I played into that a little bit. So, but as far as other things, I have not done too much with it. I didn't have a whole lot of time to sit down and just focus on like a painting session of 2 or 3 hours of what I would normally put together in. But hopefully that'll be changing soon. I did get a new bookshelf, so I am now getting more stuff cleared out of the way in the hobby room and things on shelves.
Another Kalex or whatever? Like
no, just an actual bookshelf. So I'm taking the books and yeah. So with the squares and the calyx that had books in them, I'm taking those out
so you free up more room.
Yeah. And I'm also organizing my RPGs and books. So like now I have a whole shelf that's basic D&D all the way to 5th edition, with the exception of the missing 3rd and 4th edition because I never got into that. Then there's a whole row of all the Battletech stuff. So more organizing than actually doing is what's been happening in my life.
That's good. So Organization's important, especially when your hoard used to look like just piles of stuff on tables everywhere.
Unless you've actually been down to my basement.
Boxes on the floor.
It's really an understatement when I say there's a lot of stuff down there.
Yeah, and you have your new gaming table that you've been using, so that's good.
Yeah. So, but that's pretty much it. I'm now excited about the Yaghound, so I'm hoping fingers crossed, by next month I can at least have some pieces of that thing printed up.
I'm actually going to take this time to actually not use my printer since it's broken, to actually start painting things. Maybe I should actually paint these millions of things I have all over the place instead of just printing more things.
Well, maybe we'll actually get more stuff done, because with Rob's printer down, we might be more forced to hang out via that way.
Yeah. When you just keep printing stuff and it just piles up, it's too easy just to print more stuff. So now I feel like, hey, maybe I should actually put some paint on some stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to hold off buying a new printer for 3 months and then...
Yeah, until I paint half the stuff here, I won't buy a new printer.
All right, well, then let's move on to the ComStar and see what's happening over there.
Message from ComStar.
All right, welcome to the ComStar. So let's see what kind of TVs, books, and movies we've been doing, and or video games. Brian, why don't you start us off this time?
Yeah, video game wise, I have been continued slowly making my way through Armored Core 6. Still really enjoying it, and I think I've gone through the 4th kind of boss fight. And so like it really still into the story as it continues to evolve, and much more engaged, even though I'm like not playing it as like consistently. Still really enjoying it. Still getting that feel of playing in that game. Still really liking everything about it. And then I was doing a replay of Shadowrun Dragonfall, and I'm pretty much at the end, though I don't know if I've kind of ran out of steam on it. Like I've played through that campaign before, so I might see if I can finish it off. But I did get some other games, and it's like, maybe it'd be worth just switching gears, playing something different than I had before. It's always nice to go back and visit, but every now and then my interests kind of swing with the wind on some things. I usually try to some things I'll try to see all the way through the end, especially if it's new. But if it's something that I've done before, usually just kind of all right, well,
you got what you wanted out of it. Now I'm moving on.
I got what I wanted out of it. Let's move on to the next thing. So. But it's still really, really good, and I think I talked about last time how the oddness of the control scheme on the Switch. So I won't belabor that point again. Yeah, haven't been reading too many books recently, which might change because I got some more.
Oh yeah,
This
we'll talk about that
holidays.
later.
Yeah, I don't want to. Won't go into that too much here. But otherwise, shows. Trying to think if I did start a little rewatch of 0080 War in the Pocket for Christmas, which is one of two Christmas themed entries in the Gundam franchise. I think the other one being Endless Waltz. I think happens between Christmas and New Year's. So. Good fun time. 0080 is not the happiest
Yeah,
show.
that wasn't
So
much of a Christmas.
as soon as somebody else showed up to start watching, I'm like, you know what, we don't have to watch this show. It turns out great for everybody in the end. Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been. It's been pretty busy otherwise. So
All right.
yeah.
Rob, what do you got going on?
Well, there's some news. The Voltron Kickstarter just happened from Catalyst Games for the
which I backed.
Yeah. I would have backed it, but shipping is crazy to Canada right now, so I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I backed it to get, and I will get the board game with my pledge.
Yeah, there's a role-playing game and a board game with it.
That's cool.
1,455 backers pledged $140,000. That's not bad.
No.
So that's coming. So I'll probably pick it up at Gen Con or wherever con that I happen to be at with them, because it's cool. And yeah, it's neat because they're doing it's based off the original game, or original TV show, and also the new TV show. Like they're doing two different covers and stuff. So
yeah,
whatever.
I did like this the Netflix version a lot, actually.
Yeah. So it's they're appealing to both fans, like the nostalgia fans plus the new fans, which is kind of smart.
Yeah, I like the new thing. I like the new version too because it's a little more grittier.
Yeah, a little more realistic. The old one just doesn't hold up.
No, it's a little more cartoony. So if you were going to do this a role playing game, you would have kind of a silly version of adventures, or you could have the nice gritty one.
The original one, it just every time it ended, it was just okay. They pulled the sword out to kill the thing. That's it.
Yeah, you know, they got their butts kicked, and then let's form the sword.
Why did you just do the sword first?
Why don't we just start with the sword, guys?
I didn't realize.
Why do we always do that?
They always need to get the confidence to use the sword.
Yeah. Or they're like, we can do this. We don't need the sword. It's like the sword like costs money or something.
The sword is the crux, and they're trying to keep that habit.
That's right.
It also costs money to animate.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. They want to use the same animation every single time for the sword pulled out.
For a blazing sword.
They always do that for the combination too. It's always funny. The other thing Catalyst did is they're coming out with something called Battletech Aces, which is kind of cool. It's a AI-driven, like card-driven kind of co-op version of in solo rules for Alpha Strike. So it's kind of so they have like cards where it's almost like the card has there's a link to the playthrough to show how it works, but pretty much they have a card that depending on what type of mech you're fighting, it goes through what you do in what order, and like order operation kind of like. Okay, if he's doing this, you do this. You know, it's like it's very.
Side is that our Stonemeyer Games
do that kind of thing.
They have an AI thing that's kind of set up like that.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the only way you can do it, I think, to make it realistic. But when they showed the playthrough, it looked really fun how they did it and how things worked. And they're like, the AI is good enough to actually beat you. It's not like it's just if you do it by the actual order, it actually works out pretty cool. So they've been working on that, and they said eventually they might do a one for the real Battletech for. Classic Battletech, which would be way more complicated, I would assume, but for Alpha Strike, it works really well, so that's cool.
Imagine if you had to do both players' turns in regular Battletech.
yeah, that's right. You have to keep track of their heat. Oh god. The other weird thing, our buddy Beetle from our old friend from Deads on the Podcast actually days, he sent me this thing. I think it was Beetle. Maybe it might have been. It was either Beetle or it was might have been Fabian. One of the two sent me this thing about Mech Mice, and it's a new game coming out. That's it's also could be co-op or head-to-head, which is interesting. It's like almost like Frostgrave. It seems like the co-op, but it's a miniature game that you're playing mechs, little teeny mechs that have mice who control them, and you're
fighting bugs.
What is it? What's that? Mice Guard or one of those ones like. Mouse Guard,
yeah.
Or there's another one too.
Redwall,
yeah. It's kind of like that, but with mechs. It's kind of fun. So it's very cutesy, and it could be fun. we'll see when that actually comes. That was just like a little preview from this company, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And at least the mice aren't chibi looking, so
No, they look like mice. Like they look just like we say, like Mouse Guard or Redwall, like that kind of style, but with mechs, which is kind of fun. Although the other thing that came out was during I think it's during like one of the Bandai cons in Japan. They announced Gundam the card game. It looks like it's either a LCG or a CCG. It's coming in 2025, and it looks interesting. They showed off some of the cards, and it's all through the Gundam universe. So they had some cards from like Witcher Mercury, but also some original guys, and like yeah. So it looks like it's all through the different MROs there, and like so. It could be interesting that you're playing these cards. Looks very magic-y, or those kind of games.
Yeah.
So. Nice artwork, and it looks like they're all like foil, almost shiny cards, so it's kind of fun. And it says English version, so there's going to be an English version coming out for sure. So this is an interesting little Gundam card game. Yeah, I'm sure the Japanese version would be fine. It's mostly just anyway, so it would work. So that's interesting. That's coming out in 2025, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Could be a little fun little card game. See if who distributes it in North America. We'll have to see. Other than that.
Probably the same people that did the Robotech game, right?
No, Robotech, that's totally different license, so they didn't do anything with Gundam.
No, but it was that they were right next to us. That had all the different.
You're not thinking of Logitech or whatever.
No, I'm thinking it was like Tokyo World.
Yeah. There's like one that just does a lot of Japanese games. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah,
but I would assume this is big enough to be an actual distributor. Maybe Asmodee or someone's going to pick it up. I would assume someone like that, someone big. It's Bandai, right? So. I don't know if anybody has any Gundam. There is no real Gundam games, is there? Like in North America, at least. Any games? Like, is there just no miniature games? There's no.
There is one that was being in development.
Like a fan one.
Using like the not the.
It was like Gundam Mobile Suit Gundam Skirmish or something like that.
I think that was his fan. Yeah, he wanted to get licensed, but I don't think anything ever happened with that. But
yeah,
so there was some kind of weird standing on it.
Yeah, I used to see a lot of posts on that thing, and I was very interested in its development, but then they just kind of did.
Yeah. It's like anything. They probably look to try to get the license, and they're like, no. It might have switched to a non-denominational game.
The stuff I saw was pretty solid. I mean.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting that Gundam's such a huge property doesn't have any real games. Like, there's no Gundam Monopoly or something like that, Like, you'd think there would be for such a huge property.
I mean, there was a mini one. You can still buy the minis.
Yeah, that's really hard to find. But yeah, back in the day, there was one. Yep.
It makes me think like I've got a buddy of mine who he's actually a Mantic Pathfinder in like Shanghai, and like miniature wargaming there is still kind of a burgeoning like style game. Like he does a lot of Kings of War events and some Dead Zone stuff, but like. It's still kind of a small.
It's new there, yeah.
Yeah, but great guys, and it's cool to see them people getting interested in that style of game. Yeah, might just be kind of that weird cultural thing where.
No, it might. Maybe it'll take off, and then once the Japanese company sees that it's a profitable thing,
it could get more.
Then it's going to be the floodgates a little bit, I'm sure.
Yeah. I know there was Japanese versions of Battletech because the art for those is amazing. So I know Battletech was in Japan back in the day, and 40K is obviously there, but I don't think anything else is as popular as that. So hopefully something new starts. That'd be fun. But there's a lot of properties that could be. How many anime would make amazing games? Like it's amazing that it hasn't been. It's kind of untapped potential there. Other than like fly by night games that are crap. So. Well, let's hope that we get some good games made out of this. Other than that, for things I watched, What If Season 3, Episode 1. I don't know if you guys have watched this yet.
I haven't yet. You told me about it.
It is Mech Avengers. It's the
Really?
It's there because they had the Mech Avengers comic books, which was the Avengers had to wear mechs to fight kaiju. This is kind of like a sequel almost to those comic books, where it's the original Mech Avengers get murdered, and then there's a new crop have to come up.
Nice.
And it's kind of all based. The kaiju are based off the Hulk, like his gamma radiation kind of made a kaiju, and by the end it's the kaiju fight, and it's pretty crazy, but it's
nice.
a fun half an hour episode of
I'll check it out.
Avengers as mechs, so that's kind of fun. The other big thing that came out recently on Prime is Secret Level. I don't know if you guys checked out any of these episodes. It's all based on
not yet.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, it's all based on video game properties. So it's like little cutscenes or little vignettes.
Is it kind of a pseudo like Love, Death, and Robots?
It's
kind of thing?
by the same guy, same producer.
Okay.
So it's very similar
Gotcha.
feel. Like it's that really nice animation style. And I've watched a few episodes so far, and the ones I purposely watched was there's a 40K one, which is I'm not a 40K guy, but it was pretty epic and it was pretty good. Like
Yeah.
it was pretty much 4 Space Marines going up against I don't know how many cultists, and at the end it's
sure.
pretty cool. And the other one that was big though, is huge, is there's an Armored Core one, and it is
Oh yeah.
yeah, and it stars Keanu Reeves. So Keanu Reeves is an Armored Core pilot, and I don't know if the game's like this, but that is freaky as hell. Is this video? So if you watch it, you're like, "What the hell is happening?" It's creepy. It's weird. I can see how Armored Core is made by the same guys who made Elden Ring, and Dark Souls.
Yeah,
and all
Dark
those
Souls.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely, like, as much as it's a mech game, there is a weird vibe undercurrent kind of going on.
This definitely
Which is cool.
feels that. Keanu Reeves has this weird ghost in the machine talking in his ear the whole time, and it's really weird. And there's
I hear there's also a Mega Man.
there's tons. Yeah, there's quite a few different ones.
I really want to check that one out.
There's a Pac-Man one. There's a bunch of different ones. Like it's pretty fun. I think, as always, just like Love, Death, and Robots, some are hit, some are miss. But I watched the D&D one, which was the very first episode, was quite good. Like really good animation, at least. It was fun. And then and once again, some creepy stuff happens. And then the other two were, the 40K one was, all of them were visually spectacular so far. So it's a really fun show. So that's on Prime. Most people have Prime just to get deliveries, especially around Christmas time. So check out these shows.
Is it on Prime Canada or Prime US?
It's Prime everywhere.
I think it's on.
It's one of their. It's a production from them, so it's everywhere. Yep.
Okay.
And that's it for me. I'm still reading Battletech books. Oh, that's another book I read. I forgot to mention this. John Bear Ross sent me the alpha, pretty much, or the early copy of his newest Junction World book, and I just finished it on Christmas Day, and it's pretty awesome. Leaves me hungry for more, but I can't wait till everybody can read it.
If he gives you the okay, you should send us a copy.
No, you're not allowed to read it. You can read the real copy. No, it's really good. And I think I mentioned I was reading it before, but I finally finished it. So it's fun times. If you like mech action in his worlds, this is the 4th book, I think. So he's got a few others to read. Maybe it's the 3rd book.
I've had I think his first book on like a wish list for the longest time, and working through some other ones at the same time.
Really good.
I've got a lot of books.
He's really good at world building, and it's you get to know all the characters, and it's really visually, like, you can picture everything. It's real well written, and
Awesome.
really good world. I always tell him that he should be making a game out of it, because it starts off as like gladiatorial combats, and then it expands from there, like bigger. So it's gotten really big at this point. So I won't spoil anything. Yeah, that's about it for me. That's ComStar for me. What about you guys?
Me, I finished up the one Dark Age book I was reading and was not happy.
It gets better. I'll tell you right now, it gets better.
So because of that, I haven't picked up another one yet.
I should tell you which ones you should read and just skip others.
Yeah, well, I don't know. But then, and I said it before, I backed the Voltron Kickstarter, very excited about it.
Oh, about the Dark Age novels. I heard about why the Dark Age novels aren't very good. Recently, somebody posted this. It's because all the early Dark Age novels are written by authors who aren't Battletech authors. They're like, let's get in these real authors, real sci-fi authors in there. And a lot of them feel like they're not Battletech. They're just sci-fi stories that they shove Battletech onto. You really feel that in the first few. And you can see. And then eventually the real Battletech authors come back.
True, because that's probably why I feel like it's just like, eh. Yeah.
The real Battletech authors eventually come in, and then it gets good because they're used to writing Battletech. They've been writing it for years, right? So, I think it was something that WizKids tried at the beginning. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna get real authors to write this," and it's like, "No, that's not the point. You need people who understand the world."
It's not like these Battletech authors aren't real authors.
No, I think that's what it kind of felt like when this was also in the 90s or whatever, and this all happened. So
that's true.
I think they probably had this money. And they were like, "Hey, let's actually pay for these famous authors to write stuff." And then they realized, "Oh, our authors are actually better at this than they are." So, anyways, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I don't have a lot for ComStar. I will say that over the last 3 days, I have at work, there has been a patient's dad who was watching Macross, and he sat and watched Macross for like a half hour, a couple times a shift, while we chit chatted about Robotech. And
did you give him a business card?
I didn't give him. I didn't have a business card with me, but he did. We did go check the Facebook page, and he's going to check out some of the shows.
Oh, that's cool.
But I just thought it was funny. Like, I'm doing my work, and then I hear overdubbed. It's an overdubbed Macross. You know, I hear we're at the Invid invasion now. So.
Oh, okay.
So I'm hearing the cyclones going off, or not the cyclones, whatever they're called at Macross.
Well, at that point, it's what is it? Moss Beater.
Yeah, Moss Beater. That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it's still part of the Macross. So
well, it's not part. It's part of Robotech. It's not part of Macross.
Macross is only the first part.
Well, you know what I meant. It all gets all kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
So I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it's like, coincidence.
Yeah, look at that. Just out of the middle of nowhere, someone is watching Robotech.
Keep his mind off of whatever's going on. That's nice.
Yeah.
And then he just tells his kid, stay sick for a while longer.
Book. I'm trying to go through it. I didn't watch very many shows because I haven't had a lot of time to watch TV either.
It's a busy time of the year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my ComStar and Dropship have suffered this month.
Oh, well. Next year, new us, remember?
Yeah, new us.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, then let's go to the MechBay and let's just talk about what we got for Christmas.
It's Christmas time.
In Hollis, Queens. Mom's cooking up collard greens.
Now entering the MechBay Hanger.
Okay, here we are at the MechBay Hanger. Now, this is the show that comes literally after Christmas, and we are literally recording this the day after Christmas. So, since Rob doesn't believe in presents, he said so several times already. I'm going to ask him what he got for his Xmas haul.
I got a lot of snacks in my stockings, and I got a bottle of bamboo rum, which I'm very happy with.
Did it come with a mech?
No, it came with a glass.
Does the glass have a mech in it?
No, it has the skull and crossbones because it's like a pirate rum. It's really good stuff. If you ever want good rum, buy Bamboo. I think it was from the Barbados. There you go.
It's literally an island rum then.
Oh yeah. It's pirate rum.
Right. Nice.
What else? I don't think I got anything else. A lot of snacks, a lot of chocolate, a lot of fun foods. That's about it. Brian, what about you? Did you get anything fun?
Got a couple things that are fun. So I got a couple of books, as mentioned. My sci-fi mech related ones in particular is probably I got Ghost Dog by Ashley Pollard.
Yeah, that's a good book. I read this.
Because I think
she's a friend of ours on Twitter. So
yeah. And I really like the first book. I've got the second already, so I was just kind of getting that collection all together now. And then I also got Leviathan Wakes by James Corey. So it's the first book in the series that became The Expanse.
All right.
Popular show. And so I've had that kind of earmarked for a while. It's like, man, I want to check out the show. I'm interested in the story and everything. I've heard good things. So
friend of the show, Jack, our co-host on Dragon's Tome, he's obsessed with those books. So if you go by what he likes, he said that they're the best. So
sweet.
You have to look forward to, and there's a crap ton of them too. So
yeah, and then I did get a whole bunch of other like fantasy books, but on the video game side of things, I got near Replicant, which is it's NIER. So if you're familiar with Nier Automata, which was it's a very stylistic, very philosophical game where you play as androids, fighting robots to save humankind. and it gets off the rails from there. It's a Yoko Taro game, who's a really kind of crazy existential guy, and near Replicant is it's a remake of what was just Near, NIER, but it was the U.S. release. They changed a lot of things in that first run of it back like on PS3, and so they've kind of in this one restored a lot of it to kind of the original Japanese thing. For instance, like the relationship with the main character back then was in the U.S. version was a father and his daughter are kind of the pair. In the Japanese version, it was a brother and a sister.
Oh, I thought it was going to go much worse than that.
Yeah, no, it was just really kind of bizarre.
That was a little arbitrary change, yeah.
But it's a fascinating series, and it encourages you very much so to play through the games multiple times, and it will change. But like not because you make different choices, but you just get like another window into events. For instance, I'll just a quick spoiler for Near Replicants. Like the first time you fight through, you're fighting like these shadow creatures and stuff. It is mostly fantasy, but the second and they're just kind of monsters you're fighting. The second playthrough, you can understand what those shadow creatures are saying.
Oh, it gets like creepy.
It's less creepy, and it just starts painting what's the events happening in a very different light. We'll say it that way. But I got that one, and then I also got the newest Dragon Age game. And then one other one I got. Oh gosh, now I'm gonna blank on the title of it. Let's see if I can pull it up quick from my wish list, as it were. Yeah. The Grimoire Once More. Now it sounds like a fantasy game, and it very much is. It's the folks that brought you Dragon's Crown and the other game that I was talking about a couple months back, the Unicorn Overlord. This is an older game that they designed, where it's kind of this weird like Harry Potter school thing. But I bring it up in this context to mention like learning more about the design of the game. It was very much inspired by StarCraft. Like the guys were fans of StarCraft, and they had to try to figure out how can we sell this like style of gameplay to a Japanese audience. And so a guy I follow on YouTube does like big video essays that I really love, named K-Bash. He did a whole series on the Vanillaware, and he really like spoke praises of this game. So I'm like, man, that does sound really fun. I'm gonna try that out. So yeah, in this context, it's just kind of like StarCraft adjacent, but otherwise a fantasy series. And then the last entry is a fun one that my wife got me. Is a Lego set of Luke Skywalker in an X-Wing mech.
X-Wing mech? That's interesting.
An X-Wing mech. Yeah, it is a Lego kit. Where it is literally like he's in a little like power suit robot thing with a big old like X out of its back.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's got a gun and a lightsaber.
Is it officially licensed, or is it one of those fan creations?
It's an officially licensed
that's weird.
Lego set. And so, and it's it's just a fun little gift my wife got me. So
cool.
I thought that was a fun one to mention.
Yeah,
that's all right.
But how about you, Pat?
Let's see. So pertaining to the show, I didn't get any new models, but I did get a lot of stuff for my wife. Some of the cool things that are going to pertain to, and this is where I think we're going to get a lot of hobbying done. I got a couple books. The first book she got me is Modeling and Painting Science Fiction Models by Crowwood Wargaming Guides. And this book has got some really cool tips and tricks on how to handle modeling for sci-fi stuff.
That's cool.
And in it covers, there's some Battletech mechs in there. They have semantic models. They have the Sternhammer, Iron Ancestor.
Nice.
They have the
So
Hornet.
it's relatively new.
Up there. Yeah, it's relatively new, and it's got some Gates of Antares models in it. Of course, it's got some 40K models in there, of course. But it covers working in plastic, resin, and white metal, and different techniques and stuff. So it's a pretty good book. So since I had to work for Christmas, my wife got up early and cooked some breakfast before I left for work. And then she had me open one gift to take with me to work, and that was this book. So I didn't get a whole chance to read it, but like I had like 10 minutes before we started the shift, and I was kind of piecing through it, and I'm excited for that book.
That's cool.
Nice.
And then she got me 3 books. The second book, it's even I even like even more is the weathering models. It's how to make structures and details look more realistic on your models.
It's like rust effects and things like that.
Yeah, and everything.
Really cool.
Yeah, so I'm really hip on that because I got a lot of those HG kits. I think I want to make some dioramas out of them.
Yeah,
with that. And then speaking of dioramas, she got me a 3rd book, and it's titled "How to Make Explosions and Fires in Dioramas."
Oh, nice.
So now I got, I have a Ultraman model that needs to be built. I have a Mazinger Z model that needs to be built, and
there's gonna be explosions going off all around them.
I think Ultraman and Mazinger Z are gonna have a little misunderstanding and have just a little fight before. But yeah, so it really talks about how to make, and and it talks about 16 explosions, fires, and how you make them. How fires, why this explosion looks a certain way. How it tells you how to use LEDs to create the lighting and all that and stuff. So
that's neat.
And it's a lot of step-by-step walking through how to make these explosions. So
it's
very,
not just
very
a book of showing you all these beautiful things and they don't tell you how to do it.
No, it's going to show you how to do it. So it's spectacular.
That's cool.
And the last thing that's I would consider mech related is she picked me up a set of Vallejos, non-metallic metal colors, and it's from the Angel Heraldez line, and it comes with an instructional manual from Angel Heraldez on how to paint non-metal metallics.
So you could be a wanker now?
So now I think, so when I was looking at these things, I don't know if I'm going to do it a lot because it still intimidates me. I'm not going to lie. Non-metal metallics still intimidate me.
I still say they made metallic paint for a reason. You don't have to do non-metallic metal. You're only showing off when you do it.
But all right, here we are. The reason why I kind of want to mess with it, because now I want to take some of these Battletech models that I got, I don't want to do them in non-metal metallic, so they look like fancy Gundam models.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they look amazing. I'm sure, but I just so it's wanky.
I mean, it's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. If I do, I think I want to learn it just to learn it, but I'm also lazy by nature, and I'm just going to use metallic in the long run.
Yeah, it definitely shows off when you do it. When you successfully do it, it looks amazing. So.
Oh, it looks great. Yeah, and I guarantee you, my first 105 attempts are going to look like shite. They're going to look like a bad comic book.
Not a few. I like that. I like that effect actually too. But you have to follow Angel Heraldez's step by step.
I will say, I haven't had a chance to look through it, but it does say step by step by Angel Heraldez, and we've chatted with him when I was with Mantic, and he painted a lot of the UK models for them, and
nice.
He does great work.
Yeah, his Infinity models are always amazing. They make Infinity metal models look really good.
Yeah, I got some new set of dry brush sets, like
that's nice.
specific dry brush sets. I didn't ask for a super expensive. There's a Opus. They make a set of dry brushes that's very expensive. I didn't want that because after a while, dry brushing just the brush is dry.
I don't understand like how would they be that worth that much more money?
Yeah, so I got a basic set, When I say basic, I mean not more than $40.
That's nice.
So I'm excited for that because I do like the dry brush, so especially with the mechs and stuff. And I guess the last big thing I got is not even anything related, but I just want to brag about it.
Yeah.
Since we're talking Lego, my wife got me the Lego bar door set, the big giant Eye of Sauron kit with a lighting kit for it, so it's going to light up everything.
Cool.
Yeah, the eye lights up, which is so cool.
Yeah. So
does it pivot around at random intervals?
I
gotta get a little motor in there.
Well, it's I don't know if it doesn't have a motor, but I know it does spin, and the eye tilts, so you can make it look. And if it in a dark room, I can make it look at the ceiling,
or make it look at Frodo and Sam.
Yeah, I've already built Frodo and Sam and Gollum.
Oh, they come with it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It comes with like 10 figs.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
You're gonna get Sauron, you're gonna get the Witch King, and a bunch of different orcs and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, so I built Frodo, Sam, and Gollum. Gollum.
Well,
Frodo has the ring, and then Sam's got the file of Galadriel and Sting.
And you said that when it's built, this whole model's like 2 feet tall. It's huge.
It's ginormous. If you have it's. I think it's like, oh god, I can't even say. It's like 13,000 or 15,000 pieces.
Oof. Jeez.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You'll be working that for years.
Well, I bought my wife since my wife. The funny story is my wife's. This all started with my wife buying me a Lego kit for my birthday, and she got me the Stormtrooper helmet. And then I was like, oh, this is fun. Maybe I'll get another helmet. Maybe give me another helmet. And then she just kept buying me Lego kits for my birthdays and Christmas. And then for 1 year, I said, well, you should get yourself a Lego kit, and we can build them together. And she's like, no, I'm not really into it. We're going through Costco. You know how Costco has some Costco and Lego kits, and they were flower arrangements. So I bought her one, and then she kept building it. And the one time she said, oh, I'm not really into it, but I'll mess around with it. She blitzkrieged through the whole thing. She just could not stop working. So ever since then, we've been kind of doing it's kind of a little thing that we can both do together for an hour or two.
Lego is addictive.
Yeah. So now I bought her the Botanical Garden set, which is a ginormous set in itself.
So
I think she's only like 2,000. Yeah, 2,000 pieces less than I do, I think.
Yeah. That's fun.
So we've been working that together on and off. But I think that's it for my Christmas haul. I mean, it's been fairly model centric, and things that I'm going to use for the mechs and stuff that I've been painting up. And I think the weathering one's going to be really good for getting that terrain that I want to get finished up.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
For the mech table.
Yeah, your who was it? The Cav.
The Cav. Yeah. I do want to paint some Cav and Battletech minis with the non-metal metallics just to play around with it and make it look kind of goofy. Nice and shiny mechs like a Gundam.
It'd be fun. Hopefully, we get a lot more painting done this year. That's. I think my New Year's resolution is more painting. I say it every year, but this time I think it's serious.
I am serious too, because now that I got these diorama things, I can, I look at the models and I know what I want to do with them.
Yeah, it's good to have vision.
It's just finding the time and things like that. But now I have these things that can actually show me, and because I know what I do with them, but in my head I go, I don't really know what I need to do that. So I'll ask my wife, and then my wife goes, "Well, here are these books, so now you don't have to ask me."
She's like, "Stop asking me." Cool.
So yeah, all right. Sounds like everyone had a good Christmas haul.
If anybody wants to, in our Facebook group or on X, you can follow us and post your Christmas hauls and tell us what you got.
Let us know. Show us some really cool mechs, or if you got any modeling books too, like that that you think are real helpful. Post those up too, because I'm always looking for more books.
I do love dioramas. I always repost all those dioramas I see of mechs and stuff.
And I really every time we post those, I'm like, God, I want to build one of those.
Yeah, it looks so cool.
So.
Nice.
All right. Well, that sounds like everyone had a good time. Everyone had a good Christmas. So let's hit the ExFil and then enjoy our Christmas presents.
Let's ExFil out of here.
All right. Here we are at the ExFil. We got a nice little chat about things we got. Any of those books that I mentioned that you're interested, I think my wife got them off Amazon, so you should be able to pick those up anywhere. Where did your wife get that Lego kit?
I'm not sure where she picked it up. Probably Target.
She went to Japan.
Because I didn't see it at the Lego store when I bought my wife's thing.
Lego store probably doesn't have everything.
Well, I know, but
you can do this offline, guys. Stop shopping on TV.
Gotta do it live.
Because I want that X-Wing mech.
Oh man, they've got a chopper set.
Get to the chopper.
Show your shirt, Brian.
There's chopper.
Nobody.
There's a Stormtrooper mech. In action. I'll just share that in the show notes, or I'll tell Rob to share it in the show notes. Oh, there it is. Found it.
Is it Target? All right, definitely go check it out then.
There's a Boba Fett one too.
Oh, Boba Fett's. You know what? I used to love Boba Fett until they did the stupid miniseries, and I was like, you kind of ruined Boba Fett.
It's too bad, but yeah.
He's overexposed.
All right. Well then,
Star Wars is hard.
We got another month to go before we hit the show again.
Yeah. We'll see how 2025 treats us.
2025.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys got. Any cool items that you think we missed or we should have. Post it up. We'd love to see what kind of cool mech stuff you got for Christmas.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, then, guys, let's wrap this up then. For Mobile Arm Radio, I've been your host, Chopper.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Rob.
We'll see you again next month.
The distant future of 2025.
That's right.
Special.
And, if anyone knows Elon Musk, you let him know I'm very disappointed about this rideshare mech thing.
New mech, new us. There you go. That's show title.
New mech, new us. There you go.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, buddy.
This has been Mobile Armor Radio. Join our Facebook group by searching for Mobile Armor Radio. Find us on Twitter @MArmorRadio. Join us on the first of every month for more mecha discussion.